Welcome back to From Fear to Fun, the podcast where we explore how to transform medical encounters with children from moments of fear into opportunities for fun, with connection, confidence, and cooperation. I'm so glad that you are here. Today's episode is about something that shapes every consultation before a single word is spoken: first impressions, and how massively they count. It takes 100 milliseconds, 1/10 of a second, for a human brain to form an opinion about a stranger. In that blink of an eye, we judge attractiveness, likability, trustworthiness, competence, and aggressiveness. 100 milliseconds. That's all the time you get. And over the next 7 to 10 seconds, the brain finalizes its verdict. Is this person a potential friend or a potential enemy? This is not conscious. This is an ancient survival circuitry doing its job. And here is the twist. The first impression of you is not the first emotional response of the appointment. The child and parent arrive with a base note of feelings already activated: fear, worry, curiosity, uncertainty. These emotions are triggered long before they meet you, in the car, in the waiting room, sometimes even the night before, and then finally they meet the doctor. The brain is already primed. Your first impression lands on top of whatever emotional state they brought with them. Our brains are hardwired to see strangers as neutral at first. Not good, not bad, just unknown. And when something is unknown, the brain waits for data. If the signals are unclear, ambiguous, slightly negative, or simply not warm, the brain chooses the safer option. Better assume this person might be dangerous. Because in evolutionary terms, caution keeps us alive. Caution keeps us from being eaten. And once the brain makes that call, friend or enemy, it sticks. We only revise that judgment if the new information is strong enough to force a reassessment. And reassessing costs energy. The brain hates spending energy, so it prefers to keep to its first conclusion, even if it's wrong. In healthcare in general, this matters enormously. If the child's first impression of you is safe, warm, predictable, trustworthy, the rest of the consultation becomes exponentially easier. But if the first impression is frightening, cold, rushed, ambiguous, you are suddenly climbing uphill. Because now the child must reassess their judgment, override their fear, and decide to trust you. And that's a huge cognitive and emotional task, especially for a frightened child. Once a child has decided you are danger, changing that impression becomes extremely difficult. This is why the first seconds of an encounter are not a formality. They are the foundation. A warm first impression lowers fear, increases cooperation, builds trust, makes examination easier, reduces resistance, and sets the tone for the entire visit. It is one of the highest yield investments you can make. In a nutshell, first impressions form in 100 milliseconds. They solidify within 7 to 10 seconds. The child and parent arrive with emotions already activated. The brain defaults to caution unless clear safety signals are given. A positive first impression makes the entire consultation smoother. A negative one is extremely hard to undo. First impressions count, and I hope that your first impression of this podcast motivates you to join me in moving from fear to fun. Thank you for joining me for this episode From Fear to Fun. In the next episode, we'll explore how time is experienced differently by us and the child and parent. Because time is of the essence when we want to move from fear to fun.